We have a little bit of insight into Donald Trump's strategy. One of his advisors told Washington Post that he's apparently going to press her on why haven't you implemented these plans in the past 3.5 years? What's her response to that?
She has no response to that. What she's going to do is try to pivot. She'll pivot and say, Brittany, well, let me talk about where we're headed, because I think that's what everyone wants to hear, not where we've come from, where we're headed. And we'll try to sell some of the things she's put on the table, like the $25,000 for first-time homeowners and other basically financial giveaways at a time when we're still shaking in the boots about an inflationary economy that has made the basics of life, food and fuel and home ownership, insurance, healthcare, almost beyond the reach of a lot of Americans. She's still throwing money at the problem. And I think she's going to go there. She's not going to try to defend what is. You watch. Every time she gets a question like that, she will try to pivot. If Donald Trump is sharp, much less the moderators, but if Donald Trump is sharp, he won't let her get away with that. He will continue to go back and say, so what you're saying is you're not responsible at all for the southern border, or you're pointing fingers of blame at everybody else but yourself. And I think those are the kinds of things, those are the kinds of comebacks where Americans will get a real measure, Brittany, of whether or not Kamala has what it takes, especially under fire, to handle the toughest job in the world.
We've seen over 8 years of debates with Donald Trump, and we know that he is and can be a vicious debater. And especially when it comes to women, we remember his comments about Megyn Kelly, his crude jokes about Rosie O'Donnell, calling Hillary Clinton on the debate stage a nasty woman. A, do you think that strategy this time around is going to be successful for him? And B, how does Kamala Harris combat that?
Okay, great question. I think it's important, if possible, that the president show another gear in this debate. Will he steer away completely from things he's done and used in the past? No. I mean, Donald Trump is Donald Trump, and I think people have already baked that into their impressions of him. But he has to show another gear tonight. And it's interesting. There's an assumption that Donald Trump is tremendous on his feet. In terms of impromptu, he is. He really has been very strong and still is strong, I think, to this point. But on the debate stage, not so much. If you look at all the debates that Donald Trump's been in, with the exception of the last debate against Joe Biden, which you have to confess was more Joe Biden kind of blowing it as opposed to Donald Trump nailing it. Donald Trump has not really done great in debates. It's just not his normal shtick. But there's an assumption he will do great. So I think he's got to show kind of solidity tonight, Donald Trump style. That doesn't mean he's not going to do things that are massively quotable and highly debatable. Of course he will. But if he drills down and says, look, Kamala, you can't seriously think we're going to buy what you're selling when what you've tried to sell to us in the last 4 years hasn't worked. Unless you want to say tonight, you're proud of everything you've done. And if so, start to tick off those ideas, because I think Americans are not where you are.